where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name is Chet Roivers. With me as usual is John Denton.
What's up?
If you've not listened before, basically John and I write about games for a living. So we play a lot of games, and every week we compile a list of the 10 that we've been playing over the course of the past week, take it in turns to go through the top 10. They're in a order of how long we've spent playing them, not how much we like them. So we work our way to the number ones, which are the games we've been playing the most, and we're going to try and do it in less than 40 minutes if we can. So John, yeah, let's go. Number 10.
Let's do it. Number 10. Downhill Extreme on the iPhone. Man, it's pretty extreme. It's a longboarding game where you go down hills and you use the phone's, what do you call it, gyroscope to turn. But it's kind of like, do you remember that Tony Hawk game on the Wii that you loved that was shit?
Oh, no, what was it
Downhill
called?
Jam.
That was really good.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but without the tricks and jumps. It's all right, it's free. I'm doing it for review. I haven't played that much of it yet, I've only just started. It looks nice on the iPhone 4S. Yeah, I don't have a massive amount to say about it really. It just works, and it's just one of those games on the iPhone that you go, oh yeah, this is a game.
What the fuck's a longboard?
You see those people when you lived in Brighton, you must have seen them all the time. It's like a skateboard, but it's really long and it kind of bends ever so slightly in the middle by the weight of the person, and it's much better for going around the roads on. So I think it's less dangerous or something. There's a twat around here. Skates one right down the middle of Old Christchurch Road, which is a busy road down to the centre of Bournemouth, right in the middle of the road, and he nearly dies loads of times. He's a dick. I hate him.
What a geezer. Okay, yeah, that sounds. It's free.
Yeah, it's free. It's supported by a lot of ads, like quite mainstream ads, like Vidal Sassoon and things like that. But so it's all right.
Okay, all right.
Seems all right so far, anyway.
Cool. Okay, right. My number 10, Sky Island.
Right, what's that?
Okay, you didn't play it. Someone posted a link on my Facebook.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't play it. No.
Okay, it's Fez.
Really?
It's somebody saw. I mean, I checked the first review or the first comment, and it was in October last year. Fez is. I don't follow arcade games as a rule, just because I don't. There's not a lot about them before they come out. But Fez has been on my radar for two years, if maybe longer. Someone has seen Fez and replicated it. Obviously not replicated it because it was made before the game came out, but the concept's the same, the design's the same, it looks the same, and you should just go and check it out. It's another one of those games that's on the Adult Swim gaming website, so it's games.adultswim.com, and it's called Sky Island. There's enemies which look exactly like Shy Guys from Mario. You jump on mushrooms. It's kind of sloppy. It gets bastard hard at the 4th level. It gets like bastard hard after the first sort of 10-15 minutes, so it's not dissimilar to Fez, albeit in a compressed form. Even the pixelated, really, really pixelated, barely readable text font that you see in Fez is in this.
It's got the twisty world.
Exactly, it works exactly the same, except because you do it with the mouse, you can sort of move it. So you don't flick it round, you can move it round and see and sort of try and solve a puzzle. Sort of. It's like, it's a rip-off, but it's a pretty impressive one. Albeit it's hard to judge because after level 4 it becomes a joke, difficulty-wise.
Weird. It's weird that nobody's even talking about that.
No, when I found it, I was like, "Fuck, this is." Go and play it. Games.adultswim.com, Sky Island. It's
check it out.
A hell of a job, especially considering the guy can't have played Fez. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is a game that I think is going to be higher up on your list. It's Kid Icarus. I barely had any time to play it this week. I said I'd finish it, and I lied, because I just haven't had time. So, I've kind of said my case about this game plenty. I'm right at the end now. I was just piddling about with some weapons. But is it on your list later, or I think we'll save it for the chat later?
Yeah, unfortunately I haven't had enough time to play it. So it's number 6, so it's there.
Yeah.
But
okay, we'll get to it in a minute. But if you've not listened to me talk about Kid Icarus before, I think it's classic Nintendo. One of the best games on the 3DS, and despite the awkward controls, it's a must-have if you've got the console.
Genuinely.
Basically.
I may or may not agree with that.
Right.
My number 9. Did you just ask me why?
No, I said all right.
Oh, okay. I was just like, why?
Like Michael
that didn't
Barrymore.
make any sense at all. All right, my number 9, Feeding Frenzy 2 on the 360.
What's that?
Yeah, it's a PopCap game.
Oh, right.
It came. I got sent Bejeweled 3, and on the disc there's like 3 freebies, and that's one of them. It starts really badly. It's just it's a fish tank basically. You start as a little fish, you eat all the little fish, and then you get bigger, and then you eat bigger fish, and then it just goes on and on like that. At first, I was like, "This is just appalling," but like most PopCap games, the grip after a few levels, you just started to become unable to put it down. It's like they do know they can sort of make addictive games. PopCap,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fairly big game. There's a nondescript map of like it kind of looks like the old Donkey Kong Country map, where each level's like a dot, and you sort of move around this massive map. It's always the same though. I mean, I say that I was compelled to go back. I'm not. I'm done with it now. I mean, a good sort of 45-minute session was more than enough because it is repetitive, but. It's fine. I don't know what it cost when it came out on the marketplace, but 400, sure, 800. It's pushing it a bit.
PopCrack.
PopCrack, yeah. They do know about crack cocaine.
So my number 3 or number 8 be number 8, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the entire format.
Yeah.
Nice one. Is Grid Runner, which I've talked about a million times. Have you played it yet?
I have, but it's not on my list.
Okay.
I'll talk about it next week.
What? Yeah, I still really, really like it. It just is a good way. I just put it on when there's advert breaks on or I've got 5 minutes to kill, which is pretty rare actually in my life. But yeah, 2D shooter, Jeff Minter, talks about it a million times. Don't want to bore anyone who's listened to it before. On the App Store, nice and cheap. Get it if you like video games.
Okay, I'll speak about that next week because I've played it twice. And,
all right. Yeah, you need it. You need to give it a little while to wrap your head around it, I think.
Yeah, I'll do that. I mean, it's definitely compelled me to go back to it. Although I have like some really, really big issues that I'm sure will subside by next week, but we'll discuss them then.
Okay.
My number 8 is They Need to Be Fed on the iPhone.
Is that another game about being a fish?
No, it's not. It's a friend of mine who I saw for first time I've seen him in ages. He doesn't traditionally play games, but he just wouldn't leave me alone until I promised that I'd download this game and play it. It's good, fairly straightforward. It's sort of another one of these physics-based platformers that sort of owes a slight debt to Mario Galaxy. So when you jump towards, you enter different fields of gravity of each of these platforms.
Right.
It's quite jolly. But then there's a vaguely sort of limbo-esque art style. You're this little bulb-headed kid, and the aim of the game is to make your way to the other side of the level, at which point you get eaten because you need to feed these monsters. It's fun. I mean, it's fine. The controls aren't very precise. Later on, it becomes quite difficult. I mean, I played through over the opening third. There's more than a third of the entire game's on the free trial.
Right.
Which I think is a little bit generous. I think that I had enough when the aim of those trials is to make you come back for more.
Yeah.
Collectibles open the new maps. There's stars, 3-star. It's the
standard iPhone shit.
Standard format. Replay value, probably not. I mean, it's good. It's really slick. There's a really nice theme tune as well, although it starts to get annoying after a while. But it's a nice looking game. I mean,
what's it called again?
They Need to Be Fed.
Right.
It's fine. Uninspired, but more than fine.
I might take a look at the old freezy on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you can burn through it in 20 minutes. It's worth a go.
Yeah, that's what they're all like, really. Those games. It's rare that one really sticks with you for a long time.
No, true.
So my number, I've written all the numbers down wrong, so I've got to do backwards maths. My number 7 is The Witcher 2, which I said would be low down on my list every week forever, which probably will be. I'm just plodding through it at the slowest pace.
Are you still
ever.
in Flotsam?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But I'm almost not. I'm almost not in Flotsam. I've got to the bit where you're about to not be in Flotsam anymore.
All right.
Yeah, there's something about it which isn't quite grabbing me 100%. I don't know what it is. I do really like it, and I really like the story and the writing. I've talked about that plenty.
Are you just dicking around doing side missions and stuff?
No. I've actually made a conscious decision to not do many side missions now. Because at first, what always happens with these types of games with me is I get really into them, and I'm like, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do everything in this game. And then about 2 hours later, I'm like, oh man, I wish I hadn't picked up all these quests.
Yeah.
So that's why I've not gone back to Skyrim after 45 hours, because I know my quest log is about 100 deep and I don't even know where to start. And I kind of fear that was happening again with The Witcher, and the super small side quests seemed a little bit more pointless in terms of what I was going to achieve by doing them. So I've decided to do it's quite obvious where the side quests are like, you really should do this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do them and the main storyline. Hopefully my guy will be leveled up enough when I get later in the game to keep continuing. But yeah, I've said it before. I need time. I need a good day to just sit down with it and really progress to see if I'm going to really pursue it all the way to the end. I think I will. I want to see what happens, which is rare. Normally you just want to play the mechanics, but it's nice to know. It's nice to want to see what happens in something.
Have you tried dropping it down to easy?
No.
It's not easy. It's very, very well pitched. I think that's one of the best easy modes. I mean, it's accessible, but there is challenge there. So, I mean, if you were still getting pissed off by how difficult it was, that's definitely an option.
I'm going to stick with it on normal for a while. I was a bit more sensible in the combat encounters I had this time round and planned properly. And I like the fact that it doesn't. You can't just rush in. But again, it's the time constraints of my stupid life. But I will find time, and I will at some point. I'm just gonna sit there for an evening and really smash through it. But every time I play it, I'm like in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, you should be playing Skyrim as well. You've got this to do, and then all these other things are coming up. It's a pathetic first world stress of pointless order.
I would put Witcher 2 above Skyrim. I mean, you played Skyrim more than enough. Let it die.
Yeah, but I've barely touched it. I really have. I've barely touched it. I've still got about 3/4 of the map that I haven't even been to.
Because once again you're pissing around doing stupid shit.
Yeah, but the stupid shit in Skyrim is the game. The Skyrim is a game that you. What's the best way of saying this? It's a game where you don't follow the story. The story is what you do in the world. You create your own story within it, whether that be picking up site. I mean, your own experience in Skyrim is your own experience. That is the game, and that is the game with all the Elder Scrolls games. Whereas The Witcher 2,
to a lesser degree, it is in The Witcher 2. I mean, even when you were talking about going and getting pissed, there are elements of that, although it's not to the same degree. I think there are still elements of it.
There are elements, but the fact that Skyrim is this vast open world, it is a completely different structure. And I mean, when they announced that DLC yesterday, just all it took was the picture of the guy in a fucking helmet, and I'm like, oh, fucking like an idiot that I am, susceptible to all advertising. But yeah, one day I won't talk about either of them. That would be good.
Okay, all right, genuine. Yeah, persevere, because it's a goddamn classic, that game. My number 7 is Bejeweled 3. You can't really say a whole lot, although I will say that there is a lot of content on this. It's just, the disc is literally, you put it in and it puts you into the Xbox Live Arcade version, so it's just those on a disc. But there's a hell of a lot of content on it. Loads of really, really cool mini games, really inventive, and Bejeweled is just, it's just fun.
Yeah. That it is.
Yeah, there's fuck all else you can say about it. I mean, some of the games are really cool. There's this butterfly mini game where they sort of appear at the bottom, and you've got to get rid of them before they fly up to the top. And there's another one where the everything freezes vertically, and unless you do vertical things, what the fuck do you call them? You know, get 3 jewels in a row going vertically, those all build up to the top, freeze and shatter and blah blah. But anyway, there's some really cool stuff on there, and lots of content. If you like Bejeweled 3. If you like Bejeweled 2, the content on Bejeweled 3 is, they've stepped it up, clearly. But what can you say about it? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those games, isn't it?
Yes, it's one of them games.
You can't hate.
No, you can't. That's too true.
Have you played my number 6 Spell Tower, or did you forget that I mentioned it last week?
Oh shit, I did as well, because that sounded great. Yeah.
It is great. My other half has got massively into it, probably even more so than me, so I'm kind of helping her play. It's better on the iPad just because the way that you play it is you drag your finger over the letters. So you'll go like HELLO, like that. And because I've got quite big fingers, it doesn't. Sometimes you miss it on the phone, but on an iPad it's not a problem.
Is it a different app? Is it a specific iPad app?
No. It's the old universal job, and it looks fine on the iPad. It doesn't stretch out or anything. It's full screen.
All right.
But if you didn't hear me talk about it last week, it's kind of, I liken it to a combination of Tetris, Lumines, and a word search or Boggle. You pick out words on a grid by, like I say, dragging your finger across them. You can go in any direction, and you don't have to stay in the same direction. So you can sort of go diagonally down to the right, diagonally down to the left, then down, then right, if that makes any sense, sort of snaking around to find a word. And then when you get it, that will pop out and if it's a long enough word, it'll pop other blocks around it out. So you've got that kind of block puzzle element in there as well. Really addictive, really, really clever, makes you feel smart playing it, really nicely designed, and all the sound's really good. You can tell he's an artist, the guy Zach Gage. It's just one of those games that everybody should play. It's just a really nice... you wouldn't be surprised if it had PopCap at the top on the menu. It's that well designed.
Well, I haven't. Aside from you, I've not heard anything about it.
People were banging on about it quite a lot on Twitter.
It's not been on the App Store top charts or anything like that.
I think it's crept into the top 20 or something like that, but it's not been a runaway success. But I think the guy is very surprised at how well it's done, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Because it's just born out of word of mouth and it's got no real marketing campaign behind it. But Spell Tower, hell of a lot of fun.
Right, okay, my number 6 is Kid Icarus Uprising on the 3DS.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I haven't played it very much. I've done probably, just under an hour, so I'm not 100% sure what I think yet, but yeah, I mean, it is just fucking great, really.
How are you finding the controls?
At first, I was kind of like, my feelings are like yours. At first, I was like, they do take a little while to get used to.
Yeah.
But once you do, they're perfect. I mean, and especially when you're on the ground and you have to sort of constantly turn around to fight other people.
Yeah.
And the difference between swiping the screen and turning 90 degrees versus turning 180 degrees, I started to feel like I was really learning the difference between that, and I felt just like a demon when you're nipping around, constantly moving. And I mean, it's a complicated control scheme initially, but once you get your head around it, it's great. And it's just incredibly charming. The score is fantastic. I love the way Nintendo spend that money, and they continue to spend money on big, lush orchestral scores, and it just completely pays off. And visually, it does genuine spectacle. It's a handheld game. There was a moment at the beginning where you fly to avoid something, you fly down this tunnel, and then you shoot back up again, and then the horizon just appears, and it's like, wow, it's a proper... I haven't said, been awed by a handheld game, I don't think ever, but it's something about the way it just looks so rich and vivid. I loved it.
It does.
Loved it.
I think it looks as good as anything on the Vita. It's not as detailed, but it doesn't matter. And the 3D effect's really nice.
Yeah, it's really... my jaw did drop at that moment. I was just like, wow.
Same. I know the exact moment you mean, yeah. And there's loads more like that as well, even better stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did a boss. I'm still getting my head around the things that the heart systems.
Yeah.
I like the way you sort of gamble and you sort of put the difficulty, and there's how many difficulty levels are there? Because it's all 0.5, 0.3, 0.6.
Yeah, it's sort of 0.1 to 9.0, I think. So with all the decimals in between.
And as you get cocky, you can sort of ramp that up a little bit and earn some more stuff. Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, it's a great mechanic. And then obviously you're getting the loot back, good loot, and then you can craft better weapons, and it's a whole... I call it metagame. I guess that's what you'd call it. It's a smart piece of work, old Kiddick.
Yeah, they don't fuck about. Nintendo.
No, they don't.
When they're developing for their own hardware, they don't fucking... Well, they always are, but I mean, the way that fits to the 3DS... If you were really uncharitable, you could say that they deliberately made it fit so specifically to that so that it couldn't be ported elsewhere, or people couldn't claim that it's not a proper 3DS game. But everything they've done to make it use the 3DS's functionality is just perfect.
Yeah, I've heard people say that they would much rather it just be a two-stick game. What do you think? I disagree.
I thought that at first. But once you get used to the controls, it is its own thing. And it's
exactly.
It would just be another... I mean, how many games like that are there?
Yeah, especially on the ground, it would just be another shooter. And I don't think it would be a very good one because it's not... the way the levels and the enemies are designed and is not for having that level of control. It's for a kind of combination of agility but awkwardness. It's unique, and that's good.
How does that... the peripheral that they're selling with it, I don't understand how that works.
I don't know. I haven't even used it once.
How would that benefit anybody if it's sort of on a stand and you're still resting your hand? I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense.
I think the idea is that you don't have to hold the 3DS then with your hand as well.
But that would be even more awkward because you've got your fingers perched above the shoulder buttons and you... doesn't.
I don't know. Yeah, I can hold it fine.
Yeah,
just sort of claw it underneath. Yeah. It's not a problem. It's not as hard as playing that Metroid game on the old chunky... In fact, I had to play that Metroid Hunters game. I don't know if you know, but sometimes... I don't know if they still do it, but for review versions of DS games, they used to send like a Chastity DS with a huge metal lock over the back of it, which held in the cartridge, so no nefarious little fuckers could steal it. Not that they would anyway. So not only was I holding the old school first DS like a claw in my hand, but it had this huge chunky metal thing which weighed a ton. So if you can do that, you can play the fuck out of Kid Icarus.
I thought that Metroid game on the DS was absolutely superb, incidentally, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
Kid Icarus Uprising, me boy, I'm going to smash it later this week.
Yes. Right, my number 5, yep, sorry, still got the backwards numbers, is Trials. Fucking Trials. Yeah, I played it for ages and didn't really get much pleasure out of it, but didn't want to stop. It's just like you were talking about last week. Yeah. The bit where I promised myself that I would stop and just go back and do other things, I decided to go back to it, changed my bike and did it first time, and then since then I've gone and done a fuckload more. Some of it's insanely hard, but the way it ramps up to the really hard stuff is much smoother than the last game, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I started downloading tracks, and have you played the Terminator 2 track?
No.
Brilliant.
Have you done the Super Meat Boy one?
No, I haven't.
It's as hard as Super Meat Boy.
Is it?
Meat Boy, if not
Super
hard.
Meat
Super Meat Boy. Yeah, that's gold. Yeah, it's as hard as Super Meat Boy, but really, really inventive with it. I mean, I almost killed myself trying to do it. I think I had like 160 restarts. That's probably an exaggeration, but
I had over 250 on one of the main tracks.
Maybe.
Yeah. When you play it, do you tense up? Do you find yourself a whole body tensing up?
Oh yeah, you can't play that laid back on the couch. I'm not like perched on the edge of my seat like ah.
But I caught myself. I must have been like fully tense for about 10 straight minutes, as if I was like lifting a heavy weight or something. And I thought, fucking hell, my blood pressure must be going through the roof. That's not good for you. So I try, just have to, let yourself go. Otherwise you're going to die playing Trials.
I'll get to Trials because for some reason it's on my list still to come.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah. But we'll come to that. Okay, my number 5 is Bejeweled Blitz Live.
Bloody hell, you're on a real casual tip this week.
No, this is
Johnny Cash.
This is kind of casual, but kind of not. I'd never played it before. It's another freebie on Bejeweled 3. Basically, this is the most appealing Bejeweled game for me, but it's very, very calculated. So it's trying to capture the essence of the. I don't know if it's the. It's trying to be. There's something about Bejeweled 3 and Bejeweled in general that's very, very. You can imagine coming home one day and your mum's playing it. And they do go after that market, whereas Bejeweled Blitz Live it's electro music. All the menus are in wireframe neon. It's kind of like Lumines. There's sort of similar music, although nowhere near as good. And it's just faster. I mean, games tend to last a minute, and it's all about setting high scores. And there's something that they did that I didn't. I'm going to say that they didn't implement it into Bejeweled 3. I'm probably very wrong, but in Bejeweled Blitz Live, there's only one control option. You don't use the D-pad to move the jewels. You use the four buttons. So if you want to move it up, you press old yellow, down green. But doing that makes everything so much faster, and you're like bouncing around. I mean, if they'd implement that into Bejeweled 3, I think people would get better scores on it. But really good idea. But yeah, as calculated as it is, as a really, really sort of pretty thin attempt to go after a different demographic, it really works, and the online's it's really good. It's just 1v1, nothing too exciting, but I played it for a solid hour, I think. Just the online. Just
Mr. Gem Puzzler these days.
It's not.
Sell all your consoles and get a laptop. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm done. Fuck you all. All I need is Bejeweled. No, having said that, it does lose its appeal very quickly. I mean, I'm already starting to think that I'm not going to go back to it as much as I enjoyed it. Although that's a lie. I don't know what I'm saying here. I don't know
because you're Johnny Cash these days.
Yeah, I am. I'm all about Bejeweled. Next week it's going to be number 1. No, it won't. That's a lie. I don't know what I'm saying. Look, it's just really good, right? Just leave me alone.
Johnny Cash. Right, my number 4, which I've written as number 7, is Sniper Elite version 2, which I talked about last week, but the embargo's dropped now, so I can talk about the rest of the game a little bit more. I talked at length about how good the sniping is and the horrendously hilarious kill cam, which is still by far the best thing about the game. Later on in the game, I say later on, the second fucking level, it stops at times being a sniper game and you have to go into tunnels or bunkers and it all falls apart, really. The stealth isn't as good as it should be. It becomes insanely hard. The checkpointing's terrible, so you kind of have to like bumble your way through those bits in order to get the good stuff afterwards. It's classic Rebellion, loads of promise, lack of polish, but overall I like it, and I like the fact that they had the balls to make another Sniper Elite game, because it's been 7 years, and it's still got the best sniping in anything, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's my number 2, but I might as well get it out of the way. Yeah, like you said, Rebellion don't do polish, and they don't do. There's something that I like about their game. I think they get the things that they get wrong tend to be less important than the stuff they get right.
Yeah.
They get right, sorry. And it's, I've liked it. I really have enjoyed it. I mean, the thing is that, like all their games, they give you all these tools and they don't force you to use them, so you can run around setting tripwires and landmines. But if you want to play it like Rambo, you can. And a lot of the time, some of the really cool dynamics, like hiding the sound of your rifle by sort of other noises, is kind of pointless, because it doesn't stop you from just shooting everybody and they all run towards you and then you pop them off, and then it makes it less interesting, but it doesn't force you to play it in a stealthy manner, and that's kind of its downfall, because you get the sense that it doesn't even know what it's doing. And there's things where the AI on occasion is really, really good. Like when soldiers are trying to approach you, they'll duck in and out of cover, and they'll be quite evasive. And then there was this other time where I was in this room and this guy heard me, walked out of the room, turned, said something to me, and then suddenly went, "Hey," and he went and shot me.
Yeah, that happened to me a couple of times.
It seemed like he thought I was his mate, and he was like, "Oh, you're not my friend," and he tried to shoot me. So it goes between being really, really good, the AI, and being really, really shit. And
I've had a couple of bits where, remember the silo level in GoldenEye where you just run through the door and then go back out, and they'd all line up at the door waiting to come through to shoot you, and their guns would stick through the door. No. Old school.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. You just have stuff like that where you pop your head out and they're like, and then just stand at the top of the stairs.
Blimey, that's 2.
Yeah, mate, it's been a good podcast. But it's pretty cool.
There's no tension, because as soon as you know that you've been spotted, music starts, and when the last guy's dead, the music stops.
Yeah, that does ruin the tension.
So there were bits where I was like, I should be sort of being a bit careful about what I'm doing here. Instead, if you get spotted, I'll fuck it. I'll back into a corner, pop, wait until they're all dead, and then run out. And I think it would have been better if they'd have hardly given you any rounds for the machine gun, because instead they've just made it like a fucking pea shooter. So it's completely worthless, which is frustrating more. If you had no ammo, fine, but just knowing that you're spraying, you could be right up close to someone, spray half a clip into him and he's not going to die. That's really irritating. Have you played the multiplayer?
No, I haven't.
It's actually, do you know you can do the campaign on multiplayer?
Yeah, on co-op. Yeah.
Co-op. Well, they should have been shouting about that, and I don't know why they haven't been telling people. It's on the back of the box, but I mean, people don't seem to realise this is a co-op game, and it does actually work really well with a co-op. And Overwatch is a great mode. Nick's from COD, but Overwatch, one of you's spotting people and fulfilling objectives on the ground, and one of you's sniping from upstairs. Really, really good fun, that.
They've dropped the proper multiplayer, though, haven't they? That they had in Sniper Elite.
Was
old school Sniper Elite.
What, while you're shooting at other people?
Yeah, because my brother, with the amount of free time he had in his hands when he was, 13 years old, 15 years old or whatever, was the best player on Xbox. He was the best player. There was only about 6-7 people who played it, and he was the best one of them. So he's gutted to find out that they've dropped that.
But so you're just constantly sneaking around waiting to catch a glimpse of someone, then snipe them?
Yeah. I tried playing it. I didn't like it at all, but he's got a lot more patience than I do, or something. But yeah, he said it was gleam. There seems to be a following for it.
But I don't understand that, because the way to win is to just not move. Because if you move, you'll get spotted. So don't move. But where's the fun?
But how can you kill someone else?
You wait until the other guy's going to be stupid before you. Wait until he walks out in front of you.
That's the game.
Rubbish. Sounds shit. Another thing, the use of sound's really good, because you have to walk around and be a bit quiet. As soon as you walk, there's the sound of your feet echoes against all the other buildings, and it sounds really good. So you do genuinely think, "Oh, I'm making a bit too much noise." Whereas normally you don't know in a game when you've made too much noise. And I thought that was really effective. And Yeah, the fucking kill cams are grisly as fuck.
Yeah, fucking quality.
But there's, I mean, it is just pornographic.
Yeah, it is.
The
it's
way
horrendous.
the game stops and goes, some guy spitting his teeth all over the floor, fucking hell. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I don't think anything should be censored. I'm completely against. I don't think anyone should be able to tell anyone else what they can and can't watch, do, or whatever. But I have a bit more sympathy for these people who've just announced that they're trying to ban this, because I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't agree with it, but it really is fucking grim, some of it. I mean, I did.
But
you
wanted to see the next one, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's so. You do see. Yeah, that's the problem. It's so satisfying when you get that first achievement for shooting someone from a million miles away through the eyeball. I mean, it is that's, but it doesn't massive. I don't know whether it would be better if the story and the characters and everything wasn't so goofy and sort of. So I mean, without the violence, it would be an ideal game for kids, really, because it's just a little bit sort of stupid. Get bad guys, good guys. It's all very straightforward. But then with just everything stops and there's just this fucking.
You shattered someone's testicles, right?
I shot someone in the balls from behind. I think I bet you, I laugh because I shot him in the arse. But I was annoyed that I don't think I got his knackers thinking.
Oh, you would know if you had.
Oh, right. What do they do?
Yeah. Well, it just cuts to the X-ray and you've got two tubes, two pink dangly balls, and they just explode.
I mean, someone who made this game is a fucking absolute psycho.
Yeah, they had the kill cam in the old one, but it wasn't as graphic as this.
Yeah. Speaking of happy endings, I mean, apologies for the crudeness of this analogy, but it is like watching a porn film on fast forward, and then every time there's a happy ending, slow motion, the glory. I mean, it really it made me feel ever so slightly uneasy, but I'm so fucking desensitized. Whatever. But the game is. I'm actually really, really enjoying it. It's good.
It is good.
Whilst being at the same time very shit.
Yes.
But it's just that's the other thing. If I had to describe it to someone, I'd say it's a bit of fun. But
but just to make sure that you don't show anybody else who doesn't understand video games what you're doing.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing that would upset someone who didn't play games, falling upon footage of that, especially if a kid was playing it. That's another thing. I mean, kids have got to stay fucking away from this. This is proper adult game.
Yeah, even in. I mean, I don't think you need to be 18 to see it. That is silly. That age rating, really, considering what teenagers get up to. But I think anyone under probably age of 12 shouldn't really see.
I'd say 15. I mean, it's so OTT. I mean, so
14. Remember what you were like at 14? You could handle someone's skull getting shattered.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think anyone. Yeah, you're probably right. 12's probably bang on. I was just sort of. It is. Bits of it are shocking. Shocking with a bit of a laugh at the end.
Good old happy ending.
Genuine.
Right, my number 3. Yep, that's right. Is Asura's Wrath. DLC. I've only played the first of the 4 episodes, so maybe technically it should be lower down in terms of the hours I've played, but whatever. It's still fucking gleaming. I love it. I love Asura's Wrath. They've really. I don't know whether it was on the disc or whatever. I don't care about all that stuff. Maybe I should. I don't know. The quality's still there. That's the best. That's the most important thing. This isn't one of those single-player DLCs where it's clearly been made by, a couple of interns in the corner in a cupboard. It's just as high quality, just as mental as the rest of the game, and it was just really good to go back to it. I love Asura's Wrath. It's quality.
Is it substantial, the DLC?
It's 4 whole episodes, yeah. And the whole game itself is 18, so that's almost another quarter of the game tacked onto it.
How much?
It's 560.
Oh, is that it?
560 points, yeah.
Fair play.
I think that's it.
That sounds great.
I mean, like I said, I've done a quarter of it, and it was gleaming. I can't wait to see what happens next. I'll do it straight after the poddy, probably. If you haven't played Asura's Wrath, make sure you play it.
Yeah.
Even if you get it for cheap. The argument rages of whether it's a game, what is a game, who cares? It's just one of the most outrageously entertaining experiences I've had on a games console this year.
No doubt.
I think it'll be one of those games that I'll think about and sort of reminisce about for years, I think, much more so than more worthy games, almost definitely.
I just hope that they've sold enough to make another one.
I doubt they have. I think they probably only sold about 10.
It's a shame. That's a fucking shame. I'm going to get that DLC. I'm probably going to.
Yeah. I mean, it's substantial as fuck.
Okay, I've just realised we bounced over my number 4, so I'll do it quickly.
Right.
My number 4 is Halo Reach.
Yeah.
Oh,
you started playing it. You were doing Legendary a little while ago, weren't you?
I'm still doing it on Legendary. I've just got to that bit that you mentioned where you're jetpacking over those structures.
Love it.
Yeah, and I just I went through exactly the same process. Halo on Legendary is not something you can do. Well, it's not something I can do in bits and pieces, because the first half an hour, this is shit. This is fucking rubbish.
You need to warm up, don't you?
You have to just realise, just how free you are to, and how many tactics you have to employ. It's unlike any other hard mode. And I'm loving it. Part of me forgot about how good Halo was, and I think it's primarily because I didn't realise it at the time, but there was a bit of saturation. I mean, I loved ODST, I loved Reach, and I loved 3 at the time. And it seems like too much. Now when I look at Halo 4... Anniversary. Now when I look at Halo 4, I'm like, 343 may well smash it, but I'm not really excited for it, because it's just... I think there's a little bit of saturation. Although, having said that, Halo Reach, I think, is the second best Halo game of them all, with the exception of the first. Fantastic fun.
How far have you got? You've got to that bit where you said...
I've got to the next section after that. It's very, very slow going, but it's so rewarding, so much fun. It was constantly being reminded. I always kind of write Halo off as, Halo, been there, done that, but fuck, it is. I mean, those games are fantastic when they nail it, and Reach nails it constantly throughout.
It makes you feel like a fucking hero. I mean, it really, really does, and that's something. I think Halo has weirdly become massively underrated in recent years. It's easy to bag on it because it's so big, but the systems underpinning those games are exemplary.
No doubt. But yeah, fantastic. Loving it. Halo loves back on. Quickly, my number 3 is Wrecked Revenge Revisited.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't heard of it. One Wednesday, like half of my friends just were playing it, and I was like, it's not been marketed, I've not heard about it, I didn't even know it existed. I subsequently heard from them that it's the sequel to Mashed. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, it's the actual sequel to Mashed.
It's an actual sequel to Mashed,
shit.
Which was, I mean, I loved that game. It's just fucking appalling.
No way.
As soon as I turned it on, I just was like, oh, it's just... Everything about it it's just like it's made by a bunch of people who don't care. As soon as it comes on this monotonous tinny techno that looks like one of those buttons on a keyboard where you press it and it just makes a song up itself. It's 1,200 points, and I don't know if it was day one, but there's a 400-point DLC pack already. There's only like 5 or 6 levels. As soon as you turn it on, single player, time trials, weapon trial. I mean, it's like the people who made it had no interest in making it. It's just like, make some fucking effort. Show that you care about what you're doing to some degree. It's just the most cynical bunch of shit of all time. And I don't know how long it's been out for. No time. But I sat in a multiplayer lobby for a very long time, and I couldn't get a single person to play it. And that's because it is absolutely shit.
Shit. I really thought you were going to say it's awesome.
No, it's not. I mean, it's just... Have a look at the trial, and you just be like, what... Who made this? I felt like a school teacher, and like the kid who you never expect much from came up and gave you less than nothing, and you're just like, kid, make a fucking effort. I'm not here for you. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. What am I saying? But yeah, you're just like, where's the thought? There's no passion. You just get the feeling that it's a bunch of Jobsworth who came in. I'll do this bit. I'll do that bit. There's no joy in it. It's nothing.
It's so weird for a sequel to such a joyous game.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure. Well, I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure that the people involved had nothing to do with Mashed. Where even if the time, even when you play games where there was clearly restrictions on how much time and money they had, things shine through. People use their skills or their love for the form to bring something out of it, but there's nothing in this. It's just lifeless. It just sits there on the screen, dead. I mean, it's trash. And 1,200 points? Go fuck yourself.
Same price as Trials.
Go fuck yourself. 1,200 points? Get out of it. Fucking hell. With a 400-point DLC pack, which I think came out on launch day, piss off. Oh, it's tripe. I mean, honestly, it's just depressing. Nobody involved in that game wanted to be doing it, from judging by the game. I mean, it's piss. Download the trial. Have a look.
Shit. Well, yeah, that doesn't sound very good. I was my number two is an Xbox Live Arcade game that I was going to slate, but it doesn't sound as bad as that. It's Fable Heroes.
Oh yeah.
Which is, oh mate, all I can say about it, and do you know what, one of the biggest criticisms I could give to any game is it's fucking boring. I would rather a game be utter shit than boring, and this is just boring. It's nicely made. What it basically is it's kind of like a Castle Crashers type deal, 4-player co-op. Hitting things is the only really way I can describe it. It's just fucking hitting things, going through levels, hitting things. It's like that kind of 2D, but not, because you can move up and down and that sort of thing. Levels, classic Fable tropes, Fable areas. You know, you've got Bower Stone and Mist Peak, all that sort of stuff. Fable enemies, little hobs, hollow men, all that stuff. You can play as the hero of Albion, as Reaver, but they're puppets. But I know you wouldn't know apart from the fact it says they're puppets. And you just hit things, and it's really, really, really boring. It's just fucking boring, mate. It's I don't know who it was made for, because it feels like a kids game. It's like they've tried to make a kind of Lego game, but kids don't play Fable, do they? I mean, little kids, Fable's too complicated for kids, and no adult would want to play this game because it's way too boring.
If a shit game is better than a boring game, is this worse than that Bloodforge?
In many ways it is, because at least in Bloodforge, but the thing, the Bloodforge gets really boring as well. I mean, like, objectively speaking, with my reviewer's hat on, no, it's not. It's not worse than Bloodforge. But for me personally, at least Bloodforge gave me something to get angry about. This is just insipid. I don't know what it's for. I don't know why it exists. I'm amazed it's actually come out of Lionhead. I mean, Lionhead are like... I didn't like Fable 3 very much, but this is a series that's been synonymous with kind of ambition and character and wit, and, you know, like, and their history and Molyneux's history, I don't know how involved he was with this game, is a guy that's constantly pushing the boundaries and innovating, almost to his detriment sometimes, and this is just nothing. It's only 100 points, and it's hardly offensive, but it seems a shame that Fable seems to be turning from a very interesting and ambitious, to use that word again, game series into something empty and kind of vacuous.
Yeah, I'm not inspired to play it by what you said, or having just looked at footage of it on the internet. I'm just like,
it's nothing, mate. It's just nothing. It treats Fable as if it's fucking Star Wars or Harry Potter, you know, that has that kind of reverence behind the characters, and it doesn't. There's only been 3 games, and you know, who knows who the fucking characters are? I do, because I played them all, but, you know, an 8-year-old who'd play Lego Star Wars doesn't know who these people are, surely.
Of these, the way Microsoft in seasons groups off XBLA games into groups of 4, this has been the shittest run. Apart from Trials, what is there? Oh, I suppose there's Minecraft.
Trials, it's been about Trials and Minecraft, hasn't it? And the other two just, I mean, at least Fable's an established franchise and popular, and Bloodforge, at one point there must have been a good game in there. You know, there must have been potential in there at some point with Bloodforge because of how good the production values are. But yeah, these last 2 weeks have been dry. But there's something that's not in the season, which is my number 1, and I'll talk about in a minute, which is fantastic. So
I know what you're saying. Well, you might as well start, because my number 2 is Sniper Elite V2. So
all right, well, yeah, I'll go straight into it then. My number 1. I mean, again, I probably ballsed up the whole concept of the amount of time we've played, because I probably played Trials more than this. But I wanted to talk about it. So my number 1 is the Walking Dead, Part 1, Season 1, whatever. It's from Telltale, who've done all the episodic games in the past, Sam and Max, Back to the Future, Strong Bad, all that shit, Monkey Island, the new Monkey Islands. They had a real fuck up with Jurassic Park, apparently. I never played it, but apparently it was just like a QTE-driven mess. And so people were a little bit worried about this, but this is, in my opinion, their best game. It's fantastic. I think it's better than the TV show.
What?
It is. It's a sort of combination of Heavy Rain and with Mass Effect style decisions and a bit of point and click puzzling, but nothing too taxing. It's brilliantly written. The thing I don't like about the Walking Dead TV show is the talking. I don't think it's very good. I think it's very kind of clumsy for a high grade TV show. This, I think, is better. It's more charming. The characterization is subtler, and the things that are brilliant about the TV show, the moments of action and tension, are just as good here. But you're interacting with them, and the level of interaction is limited in some point. Sometimes it's just literally clicking on a thing, but other points it's sort of high drama decision making with a very, very strict time limit. Namely, early on, you have to, like, am I going to save this person or this person? I can only do one thing, and you've got seconds to think about it. And everything you do affects the story going forward, like Mass Effect. And it's just, I played it on Friday evening with my other half, who absolutely loved it too, and she doesn't care about games, and but she likes The Walking Dead. And all I can do is heap praise on it. I just cannot wait for the next episode.
How long is it?
Unfortunately. How long's the episode?
Yeah.
It took us about 2.5 hours.
And how much is it? It's only 400 points, isn't it?
400 points, yeah. 350. It's about the price of a pint, depending where you live. If you like Heavy Rain, and you like Mass Effect, and you like zombies, then you're in business. And because it has this cool art style where they've kind of, it's been done before, but it's done very nicely here, where they've kind of aped the comics, the graphic novels. You don't fall into that uncanny valley Heavy Rain stuff where, you know, the eyes look a little dead and things like that, because they're able to be more expressive, and where it doesn't look realistic, it doesn't matter. It's one of the best written games I've played, and I shouldn't be surprised, because it's written by, I don't know if you ever listened or heard me banging on about the Idle Thumbs podcast, American San Franciscan podcast, really funny. Two of the people on it work for Telltale, and one of them was a games journalist, and it's written by the two guys from Idle Thumbs. Well, one's a producer, one's a writer, and there's, honestly, you just listen to them, they're real smart, funny guys who know about games, and they know about all sorts of other stuff, and, you know, they're big film buffs, etc., etc. So it's no surprise that they've come out and done some good work. And Gary Whitta, guy who wrote Book of Eli, used to be, I think, PC Gamer editor or something like that, is overseeing the story and writing one of the episodes. And it's really good. I'm banging on about it too much probably, but get it. It's price of a pint. It's brilliant.
Do you have to have seen? I watched The Walking Dead series 1 and I quite liked it, but do you have to have seen the second one?
No, it's not really anything to do with the TV show. It's purely based on the comics. It's a new character, it's a new story, written in conjunction with the people that do the comic and those people I just talked about. So all you need to know is that Rick from the TV show is still in the coma, like he is in the first episode, during this first episode of the game. And you play as a different character called Lee, who's got a really shady backstory that's revealed very subtly, and it's also revealed in how you choose to interact in conversations. There's a few characters that you'd recognise that pop up, but it's not too like ham-fisted the way it does it. But for the price, you should definitely play it.
Okay, I think I'm going to. I've heard too much good stuff about it. I wasn't initially interested.
I've not got bad things to say about it, apart from the fact it's a little bit freezy at times. Like some of the animation's a little bit freezy, but that's a technical thing, not a sort of design problem.
Genuine. Right, I'm going to check that out. Okay, right, my number one, Trials Evolution. Not a lot to say. I'm still compelled to go back to it. The thing that I've been doing more than anything, though, with friends is playing Gigatrack on simultaneous.
I really need to do that.
That's the best thing about the game. Playing that map, because the yin and yang of you're constantly passing people, they're constantly passing you. Just when you think you can't possibly put it back, you smash ahead of everyone else. You got fucked by something. It's a great track, my favourite track in the game. But we played that straight for probably about 2 hours the other night.
I just kept replaying it.
Yeah. I mean, because that's how fun it is, and that's my problem with Trials. It was so much fun, and I still feel like going back and doing that again. And it was and that's one track of God knows how many tracks of such a massive game, one gameplay dynamic. It's like that's such a small piece of the pie. It's like it's too much. It's like if video games were politicians, Trials Evolution would be fucking Blofeld or something from a Bond film. I'm going to take over the fucking world. It's like, all right, well, I mean, there's other shit to consider. Now I'm going to fucking take over the world. It's like, I just can't. There's so much content and there's so much to do, and it's so consistently enjoyable, even when it's not enjoyable.
It's a completist nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jesus! Imagine if you felt compelled to. No.
Yeah. Thankfully, I'm not like that, but I know plenty of people who are.
If that was the only game I know people that have been waiting for this because they don't massively play other games. That's fine. If you do like to sort of keep your palate refreshed and play as much as you can of other stuff, no chance. Although I can't. I went back to it after that Wrecked Revenge Revisited shithouse, the Mashed sequel. I just put this on to try and sort of cleanse my palate, and I was like, God, it's so good, but it's too good, and there's too much content, and it's like, leave me the fuck alone. Stop hassling me. You fucking nightmare. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be trouble for a while.
I've got a bit more of a handle
Hold on.
now. What?
There's no Battlefield 3 in your whole list. First time.
I just realised that. No, I didn't have any fucking time to play it.
Mate,
it's a fucking tragedy.
It's the way forward.
No,
you have casual games, you've ditched Battlefield 3.
Yeah, that's it.
You changed.
Yeah, that's bad news. No, next week I'm on Batters tonight. It's going to be Batters Fest, boy.
Yeah, we're going to play with David Turner's from Joypod fame soon, so that's going to be fun.
Oh,
we
sweet.
can talk about experiences there.
Cool, let's do that.
Right, so thanks once again for listening. Fantastic. We've had a great response so far, which is really awesome with everybody. Please do visit the website. It's quite good fun, thefiniteplaylist.com. We've got a few bits of editorial out there, as well as the podcast and some clips that are done on YouTube that Chet's done. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm John Denton. He's Chet Roivas. And just go to iTunes, subscribe, keep it real, keep playing Asura's Wrath. It's all good. Keep it casual. Johnny Cash. Peace out.
Genuine chat. Goodbye. At first I was like, this is just appalling, but like most PopCap games, the grip after a few levels, you just started to become unable to put it down. It's like they do know they can sort of make addictive games, PopCap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fairly big game. There's a nondescript map of like, it kind of looks like the old Donkey Kong Country map, where each level's like a dot, and you sort of move around this massive.
Oh yeah.
Map. It's always the same though. I say that I was compelled to go back. I'm done with it now. I mean, a good sort of 45-minute session was more than enough because it is repetitive, but it's fine. I don't know what it cost when it came out on the marketplace, but 400, sure, 800. It's pushing it a bit.
PopCrack.
Yeah, they do know about crack cocaine.
So my number 3 or number 8 be number 8, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the entire format.
Yeah.
Nice one. Is Grid Runner, which I've talked about a million times. Have you played it yet?
I have, but it's not on my list.
Okay.
I'll talk about it next week.
What? I still really, really like it. It just is a good way. I just put it on when there's advert breaks on, or I've got 5 minutes to kill, which is pretty rare actually in my life. But 2D shooter. Jeff Minter talks about it a million times. Don't want to bore anyone who's listened to it before. On the App Store, nice and cheap. Get it if you like video games.
Okay, I'll speak about that next week because I've played it twice. And,
all right. You need it. You need to give it a little while to wrap your head around it, I think.
Yeah, it's I'll do that. I mean, it's definitely compelled me to go back to it. Although I have like some really, really big issues that I'm sure will subside by next week, but we'll discuss them then.
Okay.
My number 8 is They Need to Be Fed on the iPhone. You can sort of move it, so you don't flick it round. You can move it round and see and sort of try and solve a puzzle. Sort of. It's like, I mean, it's a rip-off, but it's a pretty impressive one. Albeit it's hard to judge because after level 4 it becomes a joke, difficulty-wise.
Weird. It's weird that nobody's even talking about that.
No, when I found it, I was like, "Fuck, this is." I mean, yeah, go and play it. Games.adultswim.com, Sky Island. It's
check it out.
A hell of a job, especially considering the guy can't have played Fez. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is a game that I think is going to be higher up on your list. It's Kid Icarus. I barely had any time to play it this week. I said I'd finish it, and I lied because I just haven't had time. So, I mean, I've kind of said my case about this game plenty. I'm right at the end now. I was just piddling about with some weapons. But is it on your list later? Or I think we'll save it for the chat later.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't had enough time to play it. So it's number 6, so it's there.
Yeah.
But
okay, well, we'll get to it in a minute. But if you've not listened to me talk about Kid Icarus before, I think it's classic Nintendo. One of the best games on the 3DS, and despite the awkward controls, it's a must-have if you've got the console.
Genuinely.
Basically.
I may or may not agree with that.
Right.
My number 9. Did you just ask me why?
No, I said all right.
Oh, okay. I was just like, why?
Like Michael
that didn't make
Barrymore.
any sense at all. All right, my number 9, Feeding Frenzy 2 on the 360.
What's that?
Yeah, it's a PopCap game.
Oh, right.
It came. I got sent Bejeweled 3, and on the disc there's like 3 freebies, and that's one of them. It starts really badly. It's just it's a fish tank basically. You start as a little fish, you eat all the little fish, and then you get bigger, and then you eat bigger fish, and then it just goes on and on like that.
Is that another game about being a fish?
No, it's not. It's a friend of mine who I saw for first time I've seen him in ages. He doesn't traditionally play games, but he just wouldn't leave me alone until I promised that I'd download this game and play it. It's good, fairly straightforward. It's sort of another one of these physics-based platformers that sort of owes a slight debt to Mario Galaxy. So when you jump towards, you enter different fields of gravity of each of these platforms.
Right.
It's quite jolly, but then there's a vaguely sort of limbo-esque art style. You're this little bulb-headed kid, and the aim of the game is to make your way to the other side of the level, at which point you get eaten because you need to feed these monsters. It's fun. I mean, it's fine. The controls aren't very precise. Later on, it becomes quite difficult. I mean, I played through over the opening third. There's more than a third of the entire games on the free trial. Right. Which I think is a little bit generous. I think that I had enough when the aim of those trials is to make you come back for more.
Yeah.
Collectibles open the new maps. There's stars, 3 star. It's the
standard iPhone shit.
Standard format. Replay value, probably not. I mean, it's good. It's really There's a really nice theme tune as well, although it starts to get annoying after a while. But it's a nice looking game. I mean,
what's it called again?
They Need to Be Fed.
Right.
It's fine. Uninspired, but more than fine.
I might take a look at the old Freezy on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you can burn through it in 20 minutes. It's worth a go.
Yeah, that's what they're all like, really. Those games. It's rare that one really sticks with you for a long time.
No, true.
Christchurch Road, which is a busy road down to the centre of Bournemouth, right in the middle of the road, and he nearly dies loads of times. He's a dick. I hate him.
What a geezer. Okay, yeah, that sounds. It's free.
Yeah, it's free. It's supported by a lot of ads, like quite mainstream ads, like Vidal Sassoon and things like that. But so it's all right.
Okay, all right.
Seems all right so far, anyway.
Cool. Okay, right. My number 10, Sky Island.
Right, what's that?
Okay, you didn't play it. Someone posted a link on my Facebook.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't play it. No.
Okay, it's Fez.
Really?
It's somebody saw. I mean, I checked the first review or the first comment, and it was in October last year. Fez is. I don't follow arcade games as a rule, just because I don't. There's not a lot about them before they come out. But Fez has been on my radar for two years, if maybe longer. Someone has seen Fez and replicated it. Obviously not replicated it because it was made before the game came out, but the concept's the same, the design's the same, it looks the same, and you should just go and check it out. It's another one of those games that's on the Adult Swim gaming website, so it's games.adultswim.com, and it's called Sky Island. There's enemies which look exactly like Shy Guys from Mario. You jump on mushrooms. It's kind of sloppy. It gets bastard hard at the 4th level. It gets like bastard hard after the first sort of 10-15 minutes, so it's not dissimilar to Fez, albeit in a compressed form. Even the pixelated, really, really pixelated, barely readable text font that you see in Fez is in this.
It's got the twisty world.
Exactly, it works exactly the same, except because you do it with the mouse.
Where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name is Chet Roivas. With me as usual is John Denton.
What's up?
If you've not listened before, basically John and I write about games for a living. So we play a lot of games, and every week we compile a list of the 10 that we've been playing over the course of the past week, take it in turns to go through the top 10. They're in a order of how long we've spent playing them, not how much we like them. So we work our way to the number ones, which are the games we've been playing the most, and we're going to try and do it in less than 40 minutes if we can. So John, let's go. Number 10.
Let's do it. Number 10, Downhill Extreme on the iPhone. Man, it's pretty extreme. It's a longboarding game where you go down hills and you use the phone's, gyroscope to turn. But it's kind of like, do you remember that Tony Hawk game on the Wii that you loved that was shit?
Oh, no. What was it
Downhill
called?
Jam.
That was really good.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But without the tricks and jumps. It's all right. It's free. I'm doing it for a review. I haven't played that much of it yet. I've only just started. Looks nice on the iPhone 4S. I don't have a massive amount to say about it, really. It just works, and it's just one of those games on the iPhone that you go, oh, yeah, this is a game.
What the fuck's a longboard?
You see those people, when you lived in Brighton, you must have seen them all the time. It's like a skateboard, but it's really long, and it kind of bends ever so slightly in the middle by the weight of the person. And it's much better for going around the roads on, so I think it's less dangerous or something. There's a twat around here who skates one right down the middle of Old